Ladies and gentlemen, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. Welcome to the kickoff of QuakeCon and the Quake Pro League World Championship. I am DJ Wheat, joined this morning by 40 Lions and ZSX. Gentlemen, it has been 3 stages, 2 regions, the past year of gameplay every single week. And here we are, one step closer to crowning a QPL World Champion once again. How are you both? Good morning. How's it going?
Doing well. Good morning,
Excellent.
Wheat. I know it's early for you. Dan, how are you? Looking spectacular as always.
Thank you. I mean, that intro sounded so good back at the World Championships. Even though we're here online, it's still such a great stage to be at.
Yeah, it is. And we're going to talk about what we've seen and kind of the storylines going into this weekend. For the next 3 days, there's going to be just 2 streams jam-packed with a lot of Quake action happening, both here on the A stream as well on the B stream throughout today and tomorrow. We're going to go through the full schedule and everything. Just want to say good morning and hello to everyone in chat. Many of you have been along for the ride each and every Sunday along the way. We're excited to have you buckle in for the weekend. Of course, the biggest storylines being whether or not Rafa can become the quad father, or if we will have someone take the title of the God Killer and potentially defeat Rafa. But if you might ask, how did we get here, gentlemen? You know, like what happened between the last time we were at a stage 2 finals and now? Guess what? We've got a video that's going to walk through every single frag we've seen. No, I'm just kidding. Not every single one. But let's take a look at the last 13 weeks and how these players, how this action has all played out here in the QPL.
Gilson is massively stacked. He's got to be quite careful here. GaRpY's just trying to do as much damage as possible before he gets taken down, but that was a great Pika play. Predicting these rockets.
Oh my God, GaRpY!
Fantastic from GaRpY.
Rockets around the corner. Sparty trying to get something going here.
No
There's the
way.
rocket jump to deny. Oh my God, Kilson, that is not allowed.
He knows how important this Mega is. That's why he's making himself heard. Great rail from Sparty. Kilson, no, whiz weak. He gets bounced. He gets hit again. Inject comes out. Sparty's connecting. No, he swaps. Somehow he trades.
Good job to negate it, but he falls down. Now he has to bull rush. He has to bull rush to try and get in, but
He hits him. Conversion. Yes.
max damage, and that's pretty good with the pineapples. Into the rail, and there's the conversion. Maybe to get this spawn frag if GaRpY's not careful. But GaRpY on the aggression. GaRpY feeling himself, but a good defensive rail into the LG. There's the shield for a little bit. There's the shield for a little bit of insurance. Can GaRpY melt him down? He should be able to have this. What the hell was that?
GaRpY keeping that timing going on. Crazy drops down. What a rail.
Oh, CNZ just gets down on the Mega in the nick of time. I think that is, above all else, wonderful positioning from CNZ.
Base is able to grab it up the jump pad. Rail is hit. Can he follow up with another one? Yes, he can.
Aggressive.
And a third, and that is exactly what we were talking about.
It's the plasma trail. You gotta be kidding me. I have not seen the plasma trail do that much damage in a very long time.
Trying to hit some rails, not quite abandoning all hope. But the Dire Roar closes the gap into the rocket. Saigib, I am in your face. What's up now?
The hand connecting with nothing so far and getting whittled down by the heavy machine gun. He's going for the heavy. Oh, lovely bait. Lovely
he
bait.
knows what's up.
The fake jump in the doorway, trying to bait out the lizard. Exactly what he does. He actually gets the boost and repositions. He gets the frag.
He's going to get up there. It's got Maxter waiting for him. Rail hits. Going to follow up with a rocket. 2 huge rockets come out. And that's going to be for Nosfa. I'll tell you what. Wow. He almost face checked right into the void. But Maxter's going to capitalize on that mistake. The dual wheel did come out there, and that actually forced Maxter off. He's going to try to steal away this Mega, but Nasa with the air rocket. Oh my God, are you serious? He grapples up a complete vertical grapple.
Yeah, really nice play there from Sid, but a big rocket defensively. Make that 2, make that 3, Maxter, you're insane! Dual wheel comes out, the spit will connect, and Maxter's gonna tick down slowly but surely, but he gets the telefrag! Oh, it was a dirty dance!
Effortless definitely got the better spawn in that situation. Has to give up Mega, but there we go. Nosfa takes 150, 170 something damage from the peaker. Be cutting off Nosfa over at heavy. That orb falls a little bit short. Can he make it work? Indeed, he finds a shot, ties it up just before heavy spawns. Actually, he's just gonna go for it. He's gonna go for it. He knows that the turret has been used, so that can't be used to block him, but Nosfa survives and lands a solid rocket. Goes for the rush. Expert block. Oh!
Damage be dished out here. He's looking for it. Goes underneath. Oh my gosh! Right now he's incredibly low. There's a rail out in there. What?
Oh.
And Maxter wants it. He lands it. 35 points of health now. Boom! Through the drive-through window. Amazing, just a little taste of the action. I hope that you had your pencils out and were taking notes, because over the next 3 days, I'm hoping that we're going to see exactly that. Some great action here. And gentlemen, I mean, before we take a look at some of the brackets, the world rankings, etc., we've commented week after week on how much the players have been stepping their game up, improving, changing the meta as far as some of the champions go, trying out and excelling at different maps. And it's really been exciting to see. Before we take a look at the world rankings, any particular comments on that, right? We've had some explosive stage finals here for the QPL World Championships prior, but I feel like this has been the best stage in which every player has kind of stepped up their game. Thoughts?
For the last week or so, you know, all the pros have been streaming, even the challengers have been streaming, and everyone appears to be firing on all cylinders. It's absolutely bonkers, some of these practice games that have been going down, and everyone seems to be peak performance. It's going to be a great weekend.
Yeah, no, I agree. Rafa's not going to win, just saying that, but based on what Forty said.
The auto lock already.
But no, I mean, following on what Forty said, everyone's going into this the best shape I've seen. Kilson and Cypher definitely well up there, so it's gonna be spicy.
It is going to be spicy. Let's take a look at the world rankings before we jump into everything else happening. So this is a breakdown of the world rankings over the course of the entirety of QPL Season 2, and that means that's been comprised of 3 stages. You can see the person that Dan said very explicitly was not going to win, 37-0 at $41,000 overall, and looking in a pretty good spot to take that that world ranking.
Yeah,
the discrepancy between 1 and 2 is just bonkers. Dan, how could you sit there and say I don't get it?
It was a warm up until now. This is where it matters. This is where he has to show what he's made of.
You're not wrong.
It is.
You're not wrong.
Not
it
37
is.
knows nothing if he doesn't win this event, you know. So just saying that.
That is fair. That is actually fair. So, all right, well, let's take a look at the bracket, right? For the next 3 days, we're going to have all the players battling it out. And as usual, we kick things off with the relegation matches. These are matches in which the lowest rankings of each region are going up against the challengers that fought their way through, and that will be the first 4 matches that we see today. Those will be best of 5s, and the winner will advance on to play, of course, in the round of 16. The loser, unfortunately, will be out and will hopefully go back into Challenger to try to make it back in. But we've got some notable names up there. Any games, any potentials that you two see right away in which you're saying, oh yeah, I'm glad we're going to be seeing this one early on? Any thoughts here?
I think starting with the challenges, sorry 40, that
How dare you?
it's
kidding,
probably the strongest group of challenges we've seen to date, and I actually fear I can see I can see all of these challenges going through, but the 2 I'm going to pick out are the Shron and Waz. I think they've got really strong chances going forward in this potential bracket.
I think for me, it's that Dehang Cooler first round game that's insane, and then it leads into one of those players playing Avik, and I think that 1-2 punch is going to be fantastic to watch.
Yeah. I mean, this is just, again, a kind of preview as to what we're going to be seeing throughout the weekend. Now, again, the first 4 matches will be best of 5. I know that there's going to be at least 4 or 5 people in chat that are like, wait a second, I don't get it. So let's make this really clear so everyone in chat can help one another. And we get the first 4 relegation matches are best of 5. Everything else is a best of 3 until that finals day. And that's when things really heat up. We go to best of 5s, then, of course, best of 7 finals. But we don't want to get too ahead of ourselves. Let's take a look at what we're going to see today. We have 11 different games that you're going to be able to see right here on this stream, and I believe that we'll have a few more over on the B stream as well. But you mentioned the Dehang versus Cooler matchup, and then the potential for what that might be. We're going to see that a little later on today. But there is your taste. What are the matches you are instantly excited for, starting with the relegation matches?
Posita GaRpY, I mean, we're the ones carping it and casting it. I'm really excited to see that. GaRpY's definitely not in a good season. Posita's been up and coming. We've seen him a lot, not in his own stream, but I've seen him a lot on POV streams from other pros, and he's always put in really strong performances. So it could be a nice chance for him to shine.
I'm really excited to see Sib versus Davis, because it's Davis's first kind of chance in the limelight to really put on a show with the pressure, with people watching. He's been streaming a lot with his practices and all that, and I think Sib is going to be a great test, and we'll see if he can overcome that and break his way into the league.
Excellent. Well, there's your day 1 schedule. Of course, we'll be having a bunch of other casters joining us throughout the day. Sorry, it's, you're not going to get 40 and ZSX all day.
The way you said that, Wade, is like, don't worry, you won't have to deal with these 2 schlubs for the whole day. I'm a little offended. I don't know about you, Dan.
I think it's more that I can't deal with you for a whole day, so I'm pretty glad.
I know. That's why I love it.
Oh, someone's coming in to get the cats. Here we go. Let's go. All
happening.
right, bye-bye, kitties. All right, now we
Quick
can really
home.
get the show started. All right, let's talk about our first relegation match of the day. We have got Posita taking on GaRpY. It's going to be a best of 5 to kick off the action here for the Quake Pro League World Championship at QuakeCon. And just a shout out to all the activities happening today during QuakeCon. There's a lot of different panels, a lot of other competitions happening. Of course, I know you're all Quake heads, so you're going to be locked here all day, but you probably got that second screen experience going on. Keep us updated. Let us know what's going on and what's exciting over there. Gentlemen, let's talk about this first matchup, though. Posita versus GaRpY. And let's talk about Posita, right? He fought his way through the Challenger matchups and now faces another person who has been through Challenger regulation before, GaRpY. But what about Posita?
I think Posita is really strong. He definitely has more of an eclectic playstyle. I've seen him playing a lot of the clutch, for instance, which you would expect GaRpY to be banning out. But you can see from the results alone, like Buckster, one of the Stone performers from previous challenges, and Stone both taken out 2-0. So playing at an incredibly high level, and obviously GaRpY coming in right at the bottom end without winning a map, I believe. So low confidence in going up with someone who is feeling good about where they're at.
And if memory serves me right, I think NSE was the one that knocked out Tox in Challengers. So the fact that Posita took it over NSE 2-0, I mean, that's kind of huge. So yeah, Posita looking really strong right now.
Yeah. And Posita's got, a chance to make a mark here in the QPL. Of course, GaRpY, who's had some decent performances here, but finds himself in relegation. Going to have to fight through this one in order to stay alive. Let's talk a little bit about GaRpY, his performance here in the QPL over the last season. It's been, it's been up and down, but finds himself in the bottom 2 of the region, which means he must play in relegation. Thoughts on GaRpY?
Rough road for GaRpY.
Yeah, I think it's one of these where I'll play devil's advocate and say there's not a lot of context in these 3-0s. A fair amount of those could have gone another way. I mean, this is what we say against a lot of the players that we see with such a rough road. But it's true, a lot of these could have gone another way. And he's someone that still plays to a high level. It's just, going into this now with very little confidence. You have to say which GaRpY is going to turn up, because we've seen some great performances and some pretty miserable ones as well.
Yeah. Well, we're not going to have to wait too long to jump in the action, because we're going to be starting this one very soon. Let's take a look at the picks and bans for our first relegation matchup, Posita versus GaRpY, as we find out if these decisions will make an impact on their ability to either join a QPL or stay alive in the QPL. It looks like we're going to have Ruins, Deep Embrace, Exile, Awoken, and then Veil as our 5th and final map if we need it. Who wants to talk about these champ picks?
Yeah, when you get into the best of 5s, it gets a little bit wonky, and you have to think further ahead with regard to what you're going to be playing. But as we said in the intro, the clutch does get banned out, so that's a good boon for GaRpY. He picks up the Scalebearer to start, so a nice steady pick. But I mean, as you mentioned in the intro, we've seen a lot more variety with the picks coming out, and part of that is obviously because of the rebalancing in terms of the stacks for heavies. So not quite the powerhouse they used to be, and we have seen in the past champions like Anarchy, when they get ahead of Steaming and get their stack up, if the Scalebearer is not controlling the lights, for instance, Anarchy can have a really good time against the likes of Scalebearer. So that comes down to the execution from GaRpY and how well Posita can keep away from obviously the close combat and keep chipping away. But pretty good start for Posita. We move into Sorlag versus the Ranger. We haven't seen massive amount of Sorlag on deep, but it's still a decent enough pick, and I really like the Ranger there, just because of the explosiveness that can come out in terms of the full skill set the Ranger brings. Exile, pretty standard in terms of the Death Knight. Ison is okay. I'm not sure what you think, 40, but it's hit or miss on a map like Exile. I prefer the Death Knight slightly. And then I guess just to round it out, we got an Athena coming out as would be expected as we get into the later stages of best of 5. Really good on Awoken. We've seen some of the best plays in the world come out on that map with the likes of Rafa, obviously, but the Strong again, very strong pick on Awoken. So it's good to see GaRpY still getting what he wants on that map, and then ending up on Veil. Ranger's not the best, but Veil's actually a decent map to have. Oh, sorry, Range Visor, but it's a decent map to have Visor. Blaskovich, we've seen a lot from the likes of Base in the North American scene, so it's actually pretty strong picks, not as wonky as it could have been.
I think it's going to be a solid set. I'm very interested to see how Posita deals with map number 1, Anarchy versus Scale, as you said. Not only because of the matchup, but because he needs to set the tone early. Especially in a best of 5, we've talked about how GaRpY seems to fall off a little bit if you could push him towards the 4th and 5th map. So I think if Posita comes out swinging, he can win map number 1, gain that confidence again. This is the big stage. This is the Pro League right now. So all eyes are on Posita. GaRpY's been here time and time again, really, especially relegation. No offense, GaRpY, but he's been here. He kind of knows what he needs to do, so I think it's all on Posita, and I think getting a strong start in this set is going to really help him.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited to see how this one is going to unfold. I actually think these picks bans, especially on the champion side, represent kind of the meta change that we've seen happen and introduced, especially over kind of the last 6 weeks or so. So if this is, again, early indication of what we're going to see throughout the weekend, I'm excited for this explosion to start and just go 3 days long. It's like Michael Bay is going to be so proud of what we're going to see over the course of the weekend. It's going to be amazing. So let's kick things off. Thank you so much for joining us here for QuakeCon. It is now time to start our first game for the QPL World Championship. I'm going to let you two take it. So 40 and ZSX, good luck, have fun, and I'll see you on the other side.
Appreciate it, Wheat, as always. Dan, you can't escape me. It's a pleasure to be alongside the incredible Bulk once again. We're kicking off the day. How do you feel?
Feeling good. You always know how to flatter me and make me feel good about myself, which puts me in the zone, 40. Welcome back. Nice to be with you once again. We've got a good long weekend ahead of ourselves, so pace yourself, chat. It's going to be a good 3 days, a long 3 days, but it's going to be worthwhile.
Very excited, very excited. Again, this game in particular, we've casted a lot of GaRpy games together.
Yeah.
You've shared your feelings and thoughts on how GaRpy performs. We'll see if he could come through. I think this is going to be a big one right here. Again, map number 1, I think very important for Posita. Again, Anarchy versus Scale. I tip it in favor of Scale just a little bit, so it's all on Posita to, as you mentioned before, play that distance game, stay away from Scale, do not take the shoulder charge, and see what he could do. I think, I'm not sure how strong his rail game is, but it'll be tested here on map number 1.
Yeah, completely agree. And I think, as you rightly said, getting off to a good start for Posita is crucial. We don't know what his temperament's like. We don't know how comfortable he feels, but this is a completely new situation for him. He's never been in the challenges to this level. And so the question is, can he hold his own as the series drags on? If he gets off to a good start, it might settle those nerves and put him in an amazing state. But rightly said, GaRpy's experience is going to be a big factor here. And hopefully he can bring that out and play a bit more of a tempered game, because we've seen a lot of erraticness from GaRpy throughout the stage. He can't afford to let that slip in this very important match for him.
And again, we saw just littered of 0-3s on the record, but they were a lot closer than 0-3, to be fair to GaRpy. The score lines within those maps were very, very close, so we'll see if GaRpy can pull this one out and stay alive in the Quake Pro League.
And normally we see the challenges, the relegation spot challenges from the QPL side come out relatively comfortably, and that again shows the difference and the culture you get from playing in the QPL for such a long period of time. There is such a large gap to make up that the challengers find it very, very hard coming through. So let's see if Posita can be one of these to settle that score.
Let's do it indeed. Day 1 underway. Dan, Posita versus GaRpy. First relegation match of the day on Ruins. It's Posita with a nice little delay on the heavy, but Mega was also delayed as well. Good rail right off the bat.
There you go, and that will settle those nerves. Always hitting the first rail nice and clean, moving around the map, and stack preservation is such a key factor for Anarchy as well. Always want to be hitting that first shot, making sure you're the one dictating the tempo, dictating the positioning. And so far, he's got the high ground after that rail, and GaRpy's relegated to the low ground. Great start for Posita.
Easy one there for Posita as GaRpy jumps over, trying to claim the Mega, which he does. Heavy again going to Posita, so nice slow start. And here we go, big damage here from GaRpy. The inject saving his life. The rockets, are they going to land? And he does. Posita escapes with 18 HP and puts his first frag on the board.
It was a nice trap by GaRpy, but the execution for Posita was there. GaRpy knows how low Posita is, particularly without the inject. So there's going to be a period of time here where Posita needs to play slightly defensive. The big man's going to be trying to push on through, and he continues the aggression and gets it. Absolutely free frag. Maybe a little bit too confident for Posita there to be sticking around.
Yeah, a little bit unfortunately missed that initial rocket, but GaRpy also misses his initial rocket, and the tides have turned with that brutal LG from Posita.
Got absolutely melted there. GaRpy's in a decent position, particularly now the items are on more or less the same timing. Posita won't be able to commit for both. He needs to make a decision on what he wants to do, and GaRpy will have to play around that decision. He's even going to set up quite early, feeling healthy enough to contest for the heavy. In doing so, wins it against scot-free. So,
oh no! Flubbed rocket jump there from GaRpy as Posita pushes him back down. GaRpy still has the bull rush if he needs it, but he doesn't have any rockets now, Dan.
oh, it actually may be a blessing in disguise there, the fact that he did flub it. Otherwise, he might have been pinned into a corner, live to fight another day. So Posita doing a good enough job. I thought it was a mistake not to contest for the heavy, given GaRpy's vulnerability, but taking that positioning and also delaying the Mega. Now he realizes he's in advantage, and he's taking that to full aplomb here. And GaRpy might not know how long it's been delayed for, so he needs to set up and he needs to try and defend it. Really crucial rail from the Brit that forces Posita back. But we can see already, Posita's playing a very solid game and is completely in this mentally.
Yeah, very, very impressive here as we're rounding just 2 minutes, 40 seconds in, tied at 1. GaRpy playing nice and slow, just waiting for those traps. Again, the bull rush against an Anarchy, huge follow-up with rockets. Should be an easy frag, but with rails like that, it's going to make it a little harder. GaRpy railable now, hits one of his own, trying to keep Posita out. Posita smells blood. There's the LG.
Oh,
good
no.
rail from GaRpy. One more. Next one to connect. Should get the frag, and GaRpy just misses out on the opportunity.
Both hit such clutch shots there for the GaRpy somehow gets away, but Posita is chipping away. The bull rush comes out. It does actually connect, and Posita's low. GaRpy knows it, but will he push in? It's still a choke point, even though he's low and he is an Anarchy. You don't want to risk it at this early stage. There's plenty of time to move on through. Just use your advantage, sweep up the map, and that's what he's doing. Controlling these lights is incredibly important, because if your opponent can't get on them as a light champion, what is he left with? Look at the stack of Posita right now. There's going to be a full rotation GaRpY should get for absolute free because of taking those lights away. So he didn't miss that for the Mega though. That's pretty ballsy, but it does pay off for now.
Nice rail from GaRpY though, keeping him low. And as you mentioned, Posita needs to live off those lights right now. GaRpY has a full stack, has the bull rush, just needs to figure out exactly where Posita's hiding. I think he caught a glimpse maybe? He's going back for more. There's a good rail. As GaRpY tries to fire back, Posita holding him at bay with that rail, and it's really coming through for him right now, Dan.
Yeah, you put it out in the intro. The rail's going to be the clutch component, and so far it is clicking. As long as it continues to do so, he's actually living okay. Another rail comes out, but GaRpY's still healthy, so he's not too upset with that. He also wants to be burning a bit of that stack as well. It's all good having a stack, but you also want to be using it. It's still a resource for you to use, so you can take the other resources on the map. He goes out with the bull rush, doesn't connect with enough rockets. Somehow the second shotgun doesn't hit, and he does get away, but now's a crucial 30 seconds. The heavy's up, but Posita should be knowing the timing. We'll be pushing in. There's another rail. GaRpY's so low, but connecting with a rail of his own means Posita has to just settle for the heavy.
And GaRpY able to get in on the Mega, so GaRpY doing a really good job here. His bull rush is going to be up again temporarily. Ooh, just missing out on the rail opportunity. Bull rush again, back up, no armor. And GaRpY has to make a decision. Does he want to try and settle for some lights and maybe get back to T, or play for heavy or Mega? It's all on him as he does grab one of the courtyard lights here. Posita waiting in T-Con. Looks like he wants to position for the Mega. And GaRpY eating up those lights, as you mentioned before. That might come back to haunt Posita, but he snuck down and got the heavy, Dan.
He did, but GaRpY's picked up the lights and the Mega, so look at the stack difference. If he hits the first damage here, Posita's in a world of pain with only the heavy to work off.
Saving grace, potentially the inject here, as we've seen him pop it right during the bull rush to try and mitigate as much damage as possible. Needs to be careful as he drops down. A little bit of rocket damage for GaRpY will give him the information, but he only has one rocket in the pocket. Needs to be careful. Opts for the tri-bolt instead of getting, again, just getting chip damage, just information, and now gets the heavy, and the stack is pretty huge. Posita, though, grabbing the Mega, has a lot of health to work with, but not a lot of armor. Great rail there. GaRpY tries to hit one on his way out, and now Posita's starting to add the pressure, starting to pile it on. GaRpY still holding on to this one frag lead, but is eating rails.
But the reads from Posita, the decision making from Posita is spot on. Here's it going into the scale bearer, but it pays off, and it's clean. Plenty of time to get this rocket jump up. He knows that GaRpY's going to be there, but he fails it himself. That means he gives up the free Mega. But I'm really impressed with Posita. Absolutely the right decision making, and clinical as well with the rail.
Nice LG. GaRpY, though, trying to hit some air rockets. Unfortunately, no dice. 84 HP for Posita as he has the position. Good rail as well. Dodges the rocket. Almost gets the toe shot on the follow-up rail.
He was available himself, so that was a bit of a risky play. Pushing in with the lightning gun here, but he's not really connecting. He goes on through, but he will be dying for his sins. GaRpY does trade. Not too unhappy with that, given he was on the back foot for large periods, and also gets the better spawn, picking up the Mega and be able to reset. However,
yeah, very nice reset here for GaRpY.
He needs to be wary. He's got no hit scan, he's got no long distance damage here, and he's just pushing on in, a little bit reckless, giving up a lot of his stack. So he's just going to have to go and tunnel down the bunker of the heavy area and hope that he connects with the first rocket, and he does! Deleted!
That one hurt as he dropped the shoulder, got the frag up one with less than 3 minutes. Trying to pile it on, and now forcing Posita off the Mega as well. Is this going to be where it all turns up? GaRpY, Dan. Good rail out of the gate here, and now the hunt is on, potentially trying to cut off now. Good read, but Posita making his escape, but GaRpY smells blood, knowing Posita is very weak, but also playing very smart, keeping his eyes on the timings for the items, wants to keep that map control because he knows that's really going to be the key here, Dan.
Exactly, that's why you see the pressure coming out for this light here. He wants to contest it, still sticking around because he knows he can fall back onto the heavy. Doesn't connect, but that's not a big problem. And as you rightly pointed out, the challenge for an Anarchy is how do you get back into the game after such a clean frag? He misses out on the Mega though, charging through the bull rush. He's taking a lot of damage. But Posita, look how low he is. I mean, sure, he's doing huge amounts of damage, but there's nothing on the map for him to recoup on. So he's just playing this delay game, trying to chip away at GaRpY, but as he's out of position, GaRpY says, cool, I'll take these free light and then jump back down. Posita's going to be contesting and actually winning this heavy, so GaRpY's respecting the lead with a minute and a half to go. And might be playing a bit more defensive, but that rocket is huge.
Put a donk on it. Now Posita getting caught out the jump pad. GaRpY with a good read, a little bit of a tickle just to force him back down, and still maintaining these items. He did give up the heavy, but pretty much deleted it instantly with that rocket. And
yeah,
GaRpY doing a really good job with this item control. A minute 20 left. Can GaRpY hang on? Dan taking a lot of LG. Posita with free damage, but a rocket from down below. GaRpY, you're insane.
Just want to point out the previous heavy, I think, is an example of the experience of someone like GaRpY. It could have been very easy to contest it. He had the time to push on through. He had the stack to do it, but he understood he didn't need to do so. He took a defensive position and just ensured he mitigated the pickup from Posita. Could have won in the game. There's still time for Posita to get back into it, but he's have to connect with multiple rails if he's going to be able to do this. Because GaRpY, he won't be forcing a fight. He'll just be playing the angles, playing the defensive game, and trying to catch Posita on the exit.
And he's still got the bull rush as well, so GaRpY can play heavily defensive and also deal big damage or just escape. There's one good rail from Posita. Big rocket from GaRpY. Now he's gonna bull rush. He's gonna bull rush his way out. 94. Oh no! Rocket! Wow! The shotgun buckshot from up close ties it at 3. But Posita's weak, and that huge spawn from GaRpY with the stack needs to be very, very careful here, as heavy's gonna go to him as well, Dan.
Full on erratic and running to Posita, giving him a bit of a free frag. Posita connects with the rail, but it is before the heavy, so GaRpY still looking in a good position. Posita is trying desperately to get this inject back up, and he does so. So he's feeling a bit more comfortable now. He's got some lights to his name, so he's a good starting stack. We've moved into sudden death 40.
Is there any better way to start championship weekend than with a sudden death on map number 1? Tied at 3, and I am clinched today.
Anything else?
The clinch or the tie? Anyway, 3-3, 20 seconds in sudden death here as GaRpY again eating another light, but also eating a rail. Posita doing so well with the rail, hitting 42%. Drive-by rocket, no dice. GaRpY with good damage here. Posita's going in. Into the rockets. Needs to be careful. Can't hit the air rockets. GaRpY can't connect. Getting chunked with the shotgun. Needs to be careful. Mega's up shortly. And the rail. 3 HP. GaRpY has to run.
How is GaRpY going to get out of this one? He's got to pull out all the tricks. Virtually nothing to work with. He's just going to stand around, and Posita knows exactly what's up. And he goes up 1-0 in this knockout match.
GaRpY, you're just... The scale's a thick boy. He's going to see you around that corner. You can't tuck in there. There's really nothing he could do, though, at that point, Dan. That was a nail-biter. Well done to Posita. That's the momentum he wants, and he showed just ice in his veins to start this series.
Yeah, 100%. It was a bit of a slip-up from GaRpY to go and engage him and allow the opportunity for Posita. GaRpY just wanted to seal the deal, but it wasn't the play, and you could feel the pressure come to the fore after a period of good control and good mental awareness. I think that was just a big mistake, but have to give credit to Posita. His decision making throughout was absolutely sublime, and particularly the rail is something that GaRpY's just going to have to watch out for. He couldn't allow or get it back into the game when Posita was railing, and it just, the trades were not beneficial.
And yeah, and this is the moment where Posita knew he had map number 1 here as GaRpY just tries to hide, but there's nowhere to hide, unfortunately, as we take a look at the stats from map number 1. 4-3 in favor of Posita. GaRpY falls, and a huge, huge start from Posita. And can he keep that momentum going into the map number 2? We're going to swap kind of momentums a little bit here, Dan. It's going to be Deep Embrace, Ranger for GaRpY, Sorlag for Posita. Do you see this going any other way? Do you think Posita can ride this momentum into potentially map number 2, or do you think GaRpY can put a stop to that immediately and tie it up at 1?
It's a completely different dynamic now. We've seen some great performances from GaRpY on Deep Embrace throughout the QPL, so in theory, it should be a good position. The dominance from Posita was the rail, and you can definitely play a rail game, but the Sorlag, you want to be closing the gap, you want to be playing a bit more aggressive, so it's how does Posita adjust to that? It's the same, obviously, movement style and tempo that you could set as in the Anarchy, so that's the comfort, but we didn't see a lot of the Rocket or even really LG come out for Posita, so have to see a bit more of that. But purely on performance alone, he can absolutely take this to a 2-0.
And how monumental would that be? absolutely crazy. As a challenger coming in, winning first 2 maps, you're up, you're feeling great. And again, historically, GaRpy, as you get deeper into the best of 5, starts to falter a little bit. So the fact that he's already lost map number 1, not a great sign, but GaRpy, seasoned veteran, does have what it takes to kind of claw his way back into this one. And I think this one is going to be a huge map. If he could tie it at 1, I think it resets everything, obviously, and just the confidence for GaRpy skyrockets.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen reverse sweeps before, but I'm not the stat man. I don't know the exact percentage, but I'm going to say
Flea's out there somewhere. It's fine.
It's pretty low. That's all I'm going to say. It's pretty low. So for Posita to go up 2-0, you have to be betting your bottom dollar that he's going to go all the way and be in the QPL. But this is a huge map for both of these players. If GaRpy ties it up to 1-1, we've seen the rest of the picks. I'm leaning a bit more towards GaRpy and picks alone. I think it's fairly even actually for a best of 5, but I'm leaning slightly towards GaRpy in terms of picks for the rest. So this really is a pivotal map.
Well, it might be a kind of a game of rails again. We'll see. Sorlag a little bit easier to hit, so GaRpy might have the slight advantage. But GaRpy, his rail isn't really what he's known for. His rockets are usually immaculate, so we'll see if he can kind of lay those down against this Sorlag. But I think you're totally right. This map might just decide the entire series, Dan.
And it was a bit passive from GaRpy. Sometimes we see him play a bit more aggressive, particularly in his positioning and the way he takes fights. Not that he's running at opponents, but just a bit more proactive. And you could definitely see that Posita had him on the back foot. And I mean, I spoke to GaRpy the other day about how he felt going into this. He just said, well, I have to see which GaRpy turns up. And for me at the moment, not the best GaRpy has turned up. And that's probably why he did retreat into himself, to try and protect his chances, not maybe feeling himself and felt he was being bullied by Posita. So he definitely cannot afford to go into that mentality on a map like Deep Embrace. You need to be asserting yourself. You need to take the initiative. And if he doesn't do that, Posita will be walking away with this map.
Yeah, again, a very snowbally map is Deep Embrace. Right off the spawns, you can get railed. Just big momentum swings will occur on this map, and so GaRpy has to come out swinging. And we'll see how far the Dire Orb can take him against this Sorlag. It might be the deciding factor, but Posita, strong start. Everybody in the chat that is on Team Posita, very ecstatic right now. As what a start to the day. First map, sudden death. Maybe a little bit more on map number 2 as we're going to go live on Deep Embrace here shortly. It's going to be Ranger versus Sorlag. GaRpy versus Posita, as GaRpy trying to defend his spot in the Quake Pro League.
Well, we'll see what happens, but it would be a new young face in the QPL, which is always a good thing. Starting off there, GaRpy with the high ground and the LG. Posita trying to push on up, actually. Fearless. With all regard, GaRpy trying to creep around with the shotgun, does some decent damage, but that rocket is huge. That will definitely stall GaRpy in his tracks. Posita's just quite happy and content to set up for this heavy, but a bit of a sitting duck as GaRpy just raining down a bit of pain from abroad.
Oh!
And from downtown, there it comes.
Oh no, but right off the spawn, look at that LG as GaRpy caught with the rail out, can't even land a shot. Posita ties it up immediately.
Big rails, and so far it's definitely been the rail from Posita that we see. GaRpy though, no stranger to the shotgun. Tying up, taking his lead back. Posita pushes on through, does connect with a spit, but it's just not going to be enough. GaRpy standing strong, good lightning gun. But here we go, this is where the aggression comes out, and this is where Sorlag reigns supreme. Those refrag potential with the speeder stack off the spawn, that's where GaRpy's going to have to find a way to counter that.
Bit of a slugfest to start, as there is finally a bit of a lull off the spawn here. Posita trying to line up a rail. Fantastic conversion on that one as GaRpy getting caught out in the high ground. Does have the armor shard, almost gets a rail in the butt cheeks as he tries to jump over for the heavy a little bit early here. Setting up on the campfire, now dropping down to claim that heavy as Posita backs off and does get the spit back.
I'm enjoying this balanced approach from Posita. We've seen some good aggression coming out, particularly off the spawn when he realizes the vulnerability of GaRpy is there. But also the creative use with the rail angles at the moment is catching GaRpy off guard. And here's some big rockets on defense. GaRpy trying to force his way in, but there is just no entrance.
9 HP after that one. Posita hanging on by a thread, but GaRpy trying to force the issue with the Dire Orb. Can't convert. Posita hangs on, tying it at 3. Heavy will go to GaRpy as Posita living off light armors for the time being. Spit's not going to be back up for another 5 seconds. A little bit of a tickle through the murder hole there as GaRpy, look at that stack now. No Dire Orb, but here's big LG, and again, Posita does have the Spit if he wants to. There it is, a little bit of defensive spit, and again, the rocket's so huge. Can he convert on this one?
GaRpy is trying everything to break down this door, and it is just reinforced as Posita is refusing to yield. He's been living with no items for the last 30-40 seconds, and every time GaRpy's pushing in, the return damage is insurmountable. Posita stands strong.
It is incredible that it is 3-3, and Posita has had 1 major item. That's been 1 heavy and 6 lights. And GaRpy, as you said, trying to break down this defense, and he cannot do it. And it's got to be frustrating here as Posita on the campfire might get melted. Makes it happen in a little bit of a cuppa on that here. Good LG. Into the rocket, somehow makes it happen in a little bit of a cuppa on that heavy. Just a little bit of Lipton's here. The conversion coming out, actually, Posita taking out Posita as well. So good damage from GaRpy, but in the end, Posita still has the lead.
Yeah, Posita did die, but as you rightly say, it can only be Posita that takes out Posita as another frag goes his way. Again, the odds are stacked against him, but he finds a way. Pushing on round, plenty of time for the heavy, but GaRpy's going in, but this time he has another use for the orb, and that is to delete his opponent.
Danny Dire Orbs out here. 5-4 is LG on LG. GaRpy, good damage off the spawn. Posita pushing in, denying 1 health bubble, but cannot fight any longer here as he drops down for, again, that light armor that he's been living off of. Trying to line up the shot as GaRpy through the murder hole. Maybe just waiting on that strafe. Gets it on the way out. And he throws him off the map. What a shot, GaRpy.
Okay. All right, there's one way to kill your opponent. There you go. GaRpy needs to settle himself a little bit. He felt he had the initiative, but as Posita has shown, he is more than proficient at repelling GaRpy's advances. There we go, though!
Oh my god!
That's a combo and a half.
So GaRpy taking the lead, standing his ground, saying, everybody calm down, okay? I'm not going anywhere. 6-5, still plenty of game left here as we're not even halfway through the rocket. Okay. Missing, unfortunately, for GaRpy here. The spit coming out, Posita doing good damage. 50 HP ticking away, GaRpy hanging by a thread, and somehow converts and gets the heavy. GaRpy is heating up right now, Dan.
Yeah, that time was a little bit overextending from Posita. GaRpy beginning to settle himself, extending his lead to finally to 2. It's taken all this time. He's got the health bubbles as well, which he dodges into. That's nicely played. And Posita's going to stick around because he knows he's done a lot of damage. But once again, he's giving up on his items for it. He's working with nothing, but he's sticking in the game. But it feels like a matter of time until GaRpy gets to a point where he's just extending his lead a little bit too far. So for all the great work that Posita's putting in, he needs to find a way to convert that into map control.
I mean, it was a miracle that he was able to live as long as he did and keep it so close. 4 major items under his belt. GaRpy now 17. So the score actually makes a little bit of sense. Beforehand, Posita was just living on a prayer, and now GaRpy starting to take a chokehold on the map. Posita finally potentially getting in on another major. This could be the last stand, but that rail, Posita hurt. There's the shotgun, and GaRpy is just pulling away with this one, Dan.
He is, but this time he comes out of a fight pretty battered and bruised. This is Posita's chance to get back into it. Nice initiation from GaRpy. With that rail, he might actually just rocket jump to the heavy. Nope. Sees the lizard scampering his way across to collect the item and decides against it. But now we have to see GaRpy's defensive players. Posita's got the rotation locked down. Good initiation round. GaRpy is in railable range, works his way across to the health, but still railable, and there it is! Rocket dunk and rail up to spawn. 4 minutes to go, 3.5. There is so much time for Posita to get back in this.
With the mobility and just how small the map is and the flow of it all, this is well within the realm of possibilities, and it's all on GaRpy to make sure that he maintains this lead. Hanging by a thread right now, stacked back up decently. Posita on the hunt, but doesn't want to be too crazy and give free damage to GaRpy, so good control by Posita. Self-control, should I say, is the map control. Still lacking. There's the spit. He's taking rails from around every corner. GaRpy is insane.
He is logged on and he's turned on his rail. He's finally connecting, and this is where it gets dangerous. Posita, can he keep in the game as GaRpy extends it to 5 with 4 minutes to go and a rail that will stop any sort of progression onto this heavy. He's going to have to do something. Left the Mega up. He's actually just running around the map trying to find GaRpy. And bit of lapse of concentration as he lets GaRpy get both major items, and now it's feeling like GaRpy's becoming inevitable. Posita's very much on the ropes. Extended to 6 with 2.5 minutes to go. This is now getting to the realms of unreachable if GaRpy plays smart.
Yeah, this would be catastrophic if GaRpy gave this one away, and I just don't see it happening. Posita needs some magic right now. Good LG, but there's the Dire Orb, just used as a distraction to gain some space here. Tri-Bolt to cut off the potential play for the Mega. There's the spit. GaRpy wants this frag, and he's gonna get it!
Nice. And this is more the way the script was meant to go for GaRpy. It was 2 to 3 minutes of absolutely sublime defense by Posita, but as we spoke about, he wasn't able to take that success into any sort of meaningful control or managing of the tempo. And so in spite of all those glorious moments, it was very much GaRpy's game for large periods of this map.
And also, as you mentioned, GaRpy just playing more aggressive, being more confident, playing more up close and personal, even against the Sorlag, using that Dire Orb, using those rockets that he's known for, and it really showed. Maybe perhaps on map number 1, a little too much respect, a little too timid for his own good.
Yeah.
As Posita stole that one away, but it looks like GaRpy fires back with this one in convincing fashion.
Yeah, he was really trying to force the issue. When he knew he had so much control and Posita was working with nothing, he was just trying to get in his face, play close and personal with the rockets and the LG, but Posita was prepared for that. He was set up for that. So he was hitting rails before GaRpy was initiating, but also positioning himself in some really strong defensive positions around the pillars, and GaRpy was running into damage. It was only after a couple of conversion frags did GaRpy actually begin to use his rail a lot more proficiently and was connecting with that weapon as well. And that's when he began to find a lot more success, because then the follow-ups were cleaner. And on top of that, he had better control throughout, and you can see that through the item control, just the way he played the map. So you can see that GaRpy was definitely a lot more comfortable here. And as we expected, the use of the Ranger and the Orb was generally superb.
Absolutely agree. As the retro Ranger skin for GaRpy, maybe showing his age, maybe celebrating 25 years of Quake. I don't know, Dan, but either way, he's showing everyone he's not going down without a fight. He's going to tie this series at 1. Big, big deal for GaRpy and every pretty much Maestro and GaRpy fan. As yeah, it would have been really, really rough if GaRpy went down 0-2 early.
Yeah, I think to your point, I think GaRpy's nearly got as many years in Quake as Posita has on this earth. So there is a little bit of a difference in terms of experience. And in that map it showed.
Just really well done from GaRpy to fire back. Unfortunate for Posita, he had about 3 minutes of glory where he was just living off maybe 1 or 2 lights, no majors, still making it happen, kept it close, but GaRpy, just that map control is just overwhelming, and he finally converted it to frags, blew Posita out of the water near the end there, and a big victory for GaRpy here as he tries to hold on to his spot in the Quake Pro League.
Yeah, 100%. We talked about the importance of this map, and there was a time where I'm sure a lot of GaRpy fans had hearts in mouths as Posita was pulling out some incredible skills, but it was largely the experience of GaRpy that made sure he kept himself in this game. And then as he felt more confident, we saw the mechanical skill begin to be refined. Now we continue to move on. It is 1-1 and the dust is settled. I was feeling a little bit more confident on the sides of GaRpy picks, but not to any sort of degree where it's going to determine the outcome. He should feel good though moving into the next few maps.
And the next one is going to be Exile, DK for GaRpy, Eisen for Posita, and you've already kind of voiced your favor of DK, especially on this map, where Sync Air does make his appearance every now and again. It'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see exactly how Posita plans to use that, turret. Timmy could come off big. It could mean nothing. So I think the burst damage with the DK is always going to be nuts. You can't get caught out at heavy. You can't get caught over by the Mega. It's just gonna hurt, Dan. So I think that Posita's really up against it here. If GaRpy pulls up 2-1, the nerves might start coming in for Posita.
Yeah, it comes down to, as you rightly say, how creative and effective can he use the turret, because it's generally a lot easier to maximize effect with the Flame Strike, and it is just scary. When you know it's in the pocket, you just you just don't want to engage. And if they're not using it and you're being too passive and playing around that, you can lose the map because of it. So I feel the Death Knight is just a bit of a safer pick here, but as we've seen with the likes of Avec, who just pick Aizen night and day, it is a favored pick if you use him well and can be incredibly strong. It does open up a lot of opportunities. You know, you could chuck it into the mega area and just walk on in as the turret absorbs all the damage. So there's a lot of uses for you still. It's just about using it in the right way.
Absolutely agree. As again, the first relegation series of the day has now been tied 1 apiece. Posita versus GaRpy. We're live on map number 3 right now, starting off on Posita. He's going to drop that Timmy turret almost immediately here, starting off quick.
And there goes the rail once again. It's really been the highlight of the story for Posita so far. And on a map like Exile, you're going to need it. And there it is, 3 for 3. Flamestrike comes out in desperation, and in fact, actually gets purely wasted. 4 for 4. Posita doesn't want to stop.
Oh, GaRpy just eating rockets. Those aren't biscuits. 2-0. Posita up early here, almost catches him out and does with another rail. Oh my god, he almost hit that second one.
I mean, this is the European Maxter or something. He just connected with rail on rail on rail. GaRpy doesn't know what to hit him. We're not even a minute in and it's 3-0.
Incredible from Posita as he claps back hard after map number 2. 1 minute in, 3 up, starting very strong. GaRpy a little shaken here. Good rail to try and stabilize. Down goes Timmy. There's the flame strike and off the map. Posita goes. GaRpy does it again. Throws him outside the club.
He got synced. Yeah, once again, GaRpy's found a way to kill Posita and it's off the throwing him off the map. Happened in the last 2, and GaRpy back into this now, nice and clean. Plenty of time before the next round of items, so GaRpy can make his advances here. Obviously very wary of any potential rail shenanigans, but knows Posita doesn't have it. So it could be that GaRpy puts a lot of emphasis on trying to prevent the pickup of that weapon. Posita's going to be pushing in. He doesn't really want to seek the kill here. He's more than happy with dealing massive amount of damage, which he's done. It means he can set up early for this mega.
Does have to be wary here. Does GaRpy for the Timmy. There's the double team. Does steal away the Mega. Still has to deal with Timmy and Posita. The Flame Strike trying to do 2-on-1, and he actually does so much damage, Dan.
Yeah, I mean, that was such an amazing use of Timmy the turret there, but GaRpy gets out, doing a lot of damage himself, and now can push on through into this heavy area. But no, Posita is there with the rockets and the shotgun to follow up. 10 HP, so he still needs to be careful, but what an amazing play for Posita to get out of that one.
Not bad at all here as GaRpy has LG. Trying to figure out exactly where Posita is, as he doesn't really have all of the weaponry though. He's gonna drop with the LG, Dan. He eats a little bit of rocket, almost connects with the rail. Does Posita make that? Almost connects with 2, hits the 3rd, but GaRpy is able to pick up the Mega and get a rail of his own to fight back these long distance fights.
Posita's favored position for the turret is around that shotgun area, covering a lot of angles, but here comes the Death Knight! He's nearly falling off the map himself, but he's burning down Posita. Will he even get across? No, he's just gonna accept his fate and die.
It's burning. It's burning. He's going to need to see a doctor. Still 2 frag lead for Posita. GaRpy's going to drop down, put pressure on this rail. Posita's going to miss with that. Unfortunate there. GaRpy starting to claw his way back, adding pressure, and we're only 3 minutes in. Big machine gun damage. Absolutely melts him.
Really did, and it feels like GaRpy's begun to stabilize and recognize how Posita's playing. We're not seeing him exposing himself anywhere near as much. See a little bit of defensive play trying to prevent the pickup of that rail as well, which is an obvious strategy. We know how proficient that could be given the layout of that space. GaRpy's got a good rotation once again on these major items. It does feel like it's a bit of a theme on these last 2 maps that GaRpy, when he gets in control, Posita's not finding a way to crack it. Yes, once again, has a lot of style points in terms of his mechanical skill, but he just needs to play the heavy items better. Picks up that one. They're both extremely low. And GaRpy's going to drop down with a rail to the head. That's a no-scope if I've ever seen one.
Oh, but Posita should be able to fire back and get this one. GaRpy hanging in there, trying to get as much damage on his way out, but now he might actually be able to survive this. He's going to concede the Mega. He's too early for the heavy, so this is going to be prime time for GaRpy to hide. Misses with a rail, and Posita almost pushes him off, but just takes the frag with the LG. Good rail off the spawn as well, as we're tied at 5.
Now the priority is most definitely making sure he keeps a strong rotation of these major items. Doesn't want to let GaRpY in. Early use of the Flame Strike there, trying to win out on the Mega, but having hit that rail on the way across, he's just going to have to retreat. So nice play from Posita. Great combo!
And GaRpY was a little like, is this actually going to hit me? And the rocket did enough damage to follow up with the rail. So Posita, knowing his angles here and catching out GaRpY again, 2-frag lead for Posita.
GaRpY trying to push aggressive for the spawn, but it's not working. Once again, another pixel rail around the corner. GaRpY living on the edge. He's not even going to get the light. He gives that away to Posita as well. And it is clean from Posita.
Halfway through, Posita looking pretty strong. 57% rail, big rockets, but the flame strike right on target, but Posita still closes out that frag. And again, just a little cuppa as he waits on the heavy. We've seen it before, Dan. Why not? 4-frag lead. Yeah, looking refreshed and strong. Still, GaRpY will press on. He can't land the rockets, unfortunately, and the flick of the wrist with the shotgun puts him up by 5. Posita looking to really run away with this one.
And he really is. 5 is a big score on Exile, and he's managed to do what we just said, is converting his style points into that control. He's given up a free frag. They're a little bit too confident. I was about to say he looks extremely confident. I think this time he was too confident. Still have to recognize he's in a tough match here.
Indeed. GaRpY again, seasoned veteran. Job is not finished. 4 minutes remaining. Just a little bit under here as Posita drops down. Timmy tries to gain some ground on this next Mega. GaRpY with the Flame Strike doing the same. Just trying to win out on the territory here. Posita trying to fire some rails through the fire and flames. No dice. GaRpY wins out on that Mega, and he's going to jump in on the heavy, but he's a little bit too late, and Posita with the shaft melts him down.
Yeah, the first time his rail does come out to haunt him, but on the other side of Posita looking too confident, it feels like GaRpY's looking a bit frustrated. Pushing in fairly recklessly a few times here, trying to force the issue when it just wasn't there. Posita more than happy to take 3 frags if GaRpY's going to give them to him. Once again,
and he gets caught.
Why is GaRpY there? That has to be the question. Now off the spawn, he's trying to force the issue. He knows it's getting dire, and yeah, he won't even get the trade. And once again, at this point, I don't think there's a way back for GaRpY unless a miracle happens.
Well, if a miracle is going to occur, this is the place. Down 7 with less than 3 minutes. GaRpY, can you do it? And Posita just really needs to play defensive now. He's going to have Timmy back up in about 3 seconds, a Mega to his back so he can take this fight and get some damage. GaRpY trying to bully him off, and there's a big rocket, but GaRpY converts. What a rocket!
I mean, that's one way to do it, but now you have 2.5 minutes. It's going to have to be 2.5 minutes of the most perfect play of his QPL career. Items, timing, positioning, mechanical skill, everything has to align to get back into this one.
The perfect amalgamation for GaRpY here as he's down 6. Good rail off the spawn, couldn't convert with it. I think May should have just jumped on that Mega a little bit earlier here. I mean, I still don't think GaRpY can do it. It's just a matter of time, right? There's the Flame Strike to buy that property back and make sure that Posita does not intrude or trespass on GaRpY's Mega. But Posita can just play this plus back game, milk the clock, should be able to take this map down.
Yeah, it should be. I mean, at this point, it's just fairly standard defensive play for anyone at a high level, and Posita will be more than proficient at it, just running away, wasting the time, and frustrating GaRpY even more. He's even won himself a heavy, just kiting GaRpY around the map, and that really will seal the deal now, as he's wasted over a minute since GaRpY's last frag, and is bound to waste another 15-20 seconds before even GaRpY gets another one. Good rail coming out from Posita, that just delays GaRpY's progress even more, and you have to say this is a really well-deserved victory on map 3.
Yeah, Posita big rocket through the telly as GaRpY's forced to chase. There's nothing left to do here except throw his body consistently at Posita and pray. And Posita is going to get those frags easy here. As to be honest, map 3, I mean, it wasn't easy necessarily, but Posita did really, really well. Big scoreline here, 15-8 with a little bit more on the way potentially, but going up 2-1 in your challenger set against GaRpY, that's huge for Posita right now. He is in prime position to take this set, Dan. What does GaRpY have to do?
he needs to sell himself a little bit. There was definitely elements of frustration in this map. There was mistimings, there was over-aggressions, overextension. And Posita is somebody who is clearly just got the upper hand in terms of mechanical skill on GaRpy and abusing that fact. So GaRpy just needs to be a lot more strategical in the way he plays the map. He cannot afford to try and brute force Posita. He has to play the items, he has to slow it down a little bit as well. Because playing at a fast tempo really does seem to favor Posita.
So that final 5 seconds. Posita, big victory here on map number 3. 18-9 is going to seal it as potentially the fate of GaRpy in the Quake Pro League comes down to the next map. You hate to see it if you're a GaRpy fan, if you're a Maestro fan. This is do or die. We're going to go into Awoken. It's going to be Strog for GaRpy, and it's going to be Athena for Posita.
I mean, obviously the question here, and again, this is me not having the most amount of experience with Posita, is how proficient is he on Athena? I think if he's picking it, you expect that he knows how to play the champion. Obviously, Strog is a very standard pick, if not the standard pick on Awoken, so it's surprising to see it be picked up so late in the pool, and GaRpy does snag it, but we also know good Awoken players, they can beat anyone. And the way in which Posita plays, that fast tempo, aggressive style, particularly with the rail, it definitely favors an Athena. So if he can play Athena as effectively as one would expect, I actually do see Posita walking away with this one.
And that would be absolutely huge. As we take a look at the map recap here on Exile, big damage from Posita there, 18-9. Really proficient play, did everything he needed to, and GaRpy just, as you said, missed timings, pushing a little bit too aggressive, maybe relying on that flame strike to do a little more damage than it did, not catching Posita out. Posita able to run away with this one and potentially one map away from breaking into the Quake Pro League. Again, this is best of 5, so if GaRpy can fire back as he's done after the first map loss and take us to a map number 5, then just full clinch right off the bat, Dan, as we have our championship weekend ahead of us.
Yeah, and it's been a really strong and really confident performance. We said at the intro is what mentally is Posita going to be able to do within this series, and it seems that it's completely not facing him at all. I don't think he's got a huge amount of competitive experience within the scene. Obviously, he plays at an extremely high level, so to play in this intense level of series and look as comfortable as he is, puts him in a good position.
Absolutely. Biggest stage for Quake, and he's able to pull this one out and go up 2-1 against a veteran in the Quake Pro League. That's got to give you that confidence boost that you need, showing the world that I belong here, and I might even break into it. So GaRpy really holds the cards for his fate here, as Awoken might be the end of GaRpy in the Quake Pro League. It hurts me to even really say it.
Yeah, I can see you tearing up. Don't worry about it. But it's not over yet.
It's just, it hurts.
There's 10 minutes where he has to clinch his life in the QPL.
And it all starts right now as we are live on map number 4, Awoken between Posita and GaRpy. Strog versus Athena. Can Posita do it? Can he go 3-1 and throw GaRpy out of the Quake Pro League? We will find out in about 9 minutes, 50 seconds, Dan.
And a Math coming to the fore this time, and Posita coming to the fore, going in aggressive, knocking GaRpy off for once there. The tables have turned. GaRpy going in aggressive. He knows the rail's there, but still pushing on to get that rocket. Oh, that's not the start you want as a GaRpy fan.
Not at all. Big smiles from Posita and Sync Error, though, as Posita goes up 1. Deciding which item he wants to attack, and GaRpy playing off of that, so they will trade items.
I think the question is, will Sync Error ever make a map without a void?
I hope not. He's down there like Pennywise, like we all float down here. As big LG coming up. Posita with the buckshot up close. Wow. 2-0 early.
And he's just fearless for it. I mean, I don't even think GaRpy knows what's hitting him a lot this time. Is these pushes are somewhat unexpected. You're an Athena with virtually no stack just jumping in. And it is catching GaRpy off guard.
Oh my god, okay. That's still a big rocket. I thought it was going to be a direct, but Posita just reading it well, positioning well, and just playing very strong. It's only been a minute 30, but the rail again, just clutch shots from Posita, keeping the damage high. Good LG as well, as GaRpy does hit a retaliation rail on his way to Banana. Posita doing a good job of controlling the map, staying in the mid ground, just playing off sound. Good rail as well. There's the hook in, and he knows. He knows.
Nice.
And also going to play off the spawn. Ooh. Really? Ooh, big rocket here. But now GaRpY can take this one back. Can't melt him with the machine gun, unfortunately. There's the jump over. Needs to be careful. Doesn't get thrown off, but another buckshot again. Posita.
Oh, wow.
So aggressive. This is fantastic play right now. GaRpY needs to be careful. The rocket dodge. Shotgun. Oh, the dance from GaRpY.
Wow, but you can see the confidence once again. Posita pushing in every single opportunity he can, doubling back to try and get the Mega. GaRpY gets a slightly fortunate spawn, but Posita is still willing to take the risk. Nearly comes back to bite him, but he is all over this GaRpY, all over this map. Nice push by GaRpY as he slowly does windle his way back in. Posita doing decent amounts of damage, but not enough to stall GaRpY's aggression. There's plenty of time between the next two major items. And Posita might even going down again as he's so low, tries to do anything with the last scrap of his life, and it's not going to be enough. So, again, can this overconfidence turn into a bit of a hindrance?
And it might, as he's given up some free frags to GaRpY here. There's the Mega. Should be able to rotate back to the heavy and trap again. Good rockets this time from Posita. And he read it this time. He was like, you're not going to get it twice. It's a really good defense from Posita there as GaRpY wanted to try and corner him. Good machine gun here. He's going to be able to hook out, though, is Posita. Trying to slow things down here and not just give up the frag off the spawn. GaRpY doing well with his aggression. Keeping it close. There's the LG. Big rocket into the rail, but it's not enough. GaRpY stacked too strong, able to melt him with the LG.
Yeah, the items are more or less on the same time as well, so GaRpY should be able to pick this up and get away. Nice rally. Might even be able to follow this up, but decides to take the safer route. Posita, obviously with the grapple, can just get up very, very quickly. This is now turned from what would have been a very one-sided affair into a competitive match as GaRpY's clawed his way back into this one once again. Partly due to the good fortune of Posita overcommitting, and whilst this aggressive playstyle is refreshing, it does need a semblance and a bit of a balance within it.
Completely agree. Love to see the confidence from Posita, especially in this situation, to really put a stamp on it. But GaRpY able to fight back and tie it at 5. And unfortunately, about those first 3 frags were just all due to a little bit of over-aggression, it feels like, from Posita. And that allowed GaRpY to bring it back to 5-5. There's the LG chase as Posita uses the hook and the passive to get back to the T-Con here, trying to grab this light armor near the murder hole. Just trying to slow things down as GaRpY misses with the rail. Potential for 2, misses again.
That's 3 rails. Very hittable rails that one would expect GaRpY to connect with, and that might cost him as Posita now has the confidence to contest for this major item. So much damage, all because GaRpY was not able to hit a single rail.
Here comes the peeker. Not too bad there as Posita holding high ground on the T-Con. No item up for another 10 seconds. It's going to be heavy. Posita trying to decide where to attack from. Does grab a light armor on his way. That's going to help him on his journey here as GaRpY coming around. Dropping down early, and Posita just going for the rail through, trying to deliver up something hot and fresh. Can't. Neither can GaRpY. There's the rocket jump. There's the take from Posita, but he's also taking a lot of damage. The shotgun from down below, nothing doing. A little bit of LG to try and keep GaRpY out. Posita reeling right now. GaRpY relentless on the hunt, Dan.
But there was a big rocket in there, which means GaRpY's pretty low here. Posita might even be able to get a return frag here, which he can. Again, all because of that huge defensive rocket. But nice aggression by GaRpY, trying to keep himself in it. With plenty of time before the major items, once again, GaRpY, even though he just died, still have the confidence to push on here. Posita connected with a huge amount of LG though, tying it up and trading.
GaRpY getting a nice big stack. Ooh, and good damage as well. Posita reeling after that one. Needs to hook his way to health and armor, and good LG there as GaRpY can't aggress. And this has been just a battle of aggression right now, Dan.
Yeah, it is full frontal. No one relenting, and they are trading items, which is why this continues. And also trading amounts of damage. Posita being a bit cleaner and more efficient in his damage, which is why he's keeping in this game. But now GaRpY picking up early, knows he's got time to push on through. Huge item, and he gets it with a spot-on rocket. And a clean frag at that. So now momentum's in GaRpY's corner with 4 minutes to go.
Beautiful play there from GaRpY as the aggression is perfect. The rock it as well. And does get a rail. I was going to say, Posita has the ability to deny a rail a little bit here. There's a peeker play, more damage coming out. Posita already weak.
Oh,
Big rocket into LG, just a little tickle there, and GaRpy's able to take the lead. Should be able to get this one as well. Posita trying to fight back with machine gun, actually getting so much damage after the heavy pickup. Oh my god! 6 HP into the Mega. GaRpy trying to... Wow, okay, the refrag
There's
comes
a
out.
rocket in his hands.
Whew.
Where'd you get that from, my son? But no, I mean, that frag. I don't know how Posita survived so long. I know he picked up the heavy, but still. It seemed like he lasted an age with decent LG from GaRpy. And this is so back and forth.
GaRpy still in the lead by 1 again. Quake Pro League spot on the line here is the LG from Posita. Is it going to be enough? Picks up the Mega in the middle of the fight. The Peeker comes around the corner, dealing a little bit of damage. Posita's still strong, but he gets caught out with the rail. He's going to get melted. Big defensive rocket on the way out. He's still alive. How?
Oh, how is the question? But they're both so low. GaRpy trying to hit a cheeky rail with the pixel shot. Scut himself away. The rail. If he's connected with more rails, he's actually going to win this game because it is so neck and neck. But the big difference at this point in time is Posita's connected in rails and GaRpy is not. However, that rail up on the high ground, Posita's going to stick around. What is he doing there? Catching GaRpy completely off guard. Wins himself a Mega for his absolute balls of steel. Somewhat keeps him in this game. It's a huge item to pick up and a huge rail as well to stop GaRpy going aggressive. He hears the Peeker, goes on aggressive with the shotgun and gets the frag.
Insane play from Posita there. Almost reading the Peeker play and hooking past it to get that shotgun frag. Big rockets, the shotgun, but GaRpy put a rocket into LG.
Oh my word. GaRpy keeping it in with a fingernail frag. He knows Posita's got nothing to work with, so really wants to find him, and he does, down on below, and he's just a few ticks away. The question is, how much damage did he take to try and get his frag? The answer is 40. It's okay. Posita will be contesting for this next item though, so GaRpy knows it. He might not even push in, he might just play him defensive, which he is doing. He hears Posita, but there he is, caught around the corner. Big rocket though from the Brit. Doesn't connect with the second, but Posita's still so low. He's the one that's going to be retreating now, and even if he gets this Mega, it's just going to be restoring him to parity.
1 minute for Posita to get 2 frags, and this is what happens when you back a Bulldog into a corner. GaRpy fighting for his life. It's scrappy, it's messy, but he's getting it done. Does Posita have what's left in the tank for the last minute to try and tie it up, send us into sudden death? Or are we seeing a map number 5, Dan? I don't know if my heart can take it.
I don't know. I think the 2 adjectives you just used, scrappy and messy, they really do summarize how this game has been. However, it does feel that GaRpy's been the one to contain the scrappiness. He's got onto the Mega as well. That's big, and Posita will be going... No, he won't!
Wow.
What the fudge?
Fudge indeed. As a factory of pain raining down for Posita, but what a play is this? And GaRpy able to melt him down 15 seconds for 2 frags. I think that aggression, he didn't really have much of a choice. And GaRpy's able to pull this away. 10 seconds, 3 frags. GaRpy's done it. He's staying alive. We're seeing a map number 5.
Okay, let's take a breath, everyone. Let's take a breath. This is some way to set us up for the first game of the QuakeCon Championships.
Wow, just spoiled. Spoiled we are, Dan, and we figured that way. Again, all players just peak performance before heading into this weekend, and what a show from GaRpy. Not going down without a fight. We are going to map number 5. Posita just barely falling short. GaRpy, pure aggression, made it pay off. Posita just couldn't make it happen. He tried. The plays were, as you said, balls of steel from Posita, but GaRpy just able to come out on top.
Yeah, there was a very limp start from GaRpy, and we described it as overconfidence from Posita. I think it's partly his playstyle, but there was definitely an element of overconfidence both in this map and in Exile. But it was in this map where GaRpy was able to find his feet, get back into the game, and fought fire with fire. He knew that Posita wanted to play aggressive, wanted to play fast, and Strog is built for that. You have speed, you have agility, but you also have the health recoup of killing your opponent, and GaRpy used all of that to maximum effect. There's really good peekers as well, so I think, I don't know, Posita felt...
That frag was insane.
I felt Posita was almost a bit shaken by some of the damage coming out from GaRpy, but he also so quick on his feet, so quick mentally, it was down to the wire. But then the big decider, and we said it, 26% rail from GaRpy. If that was higher, he would have won that fairly comfortably. So to come out on top without connecting with any rails, really? You have to credit him there.
Yeah, just again, the the balls of steel, veteran plays, GaRpY able to stay alive, send us to a map number 5. And as such, we're seeing a deeper champion pool. Again, as you said, Visor on Veil. We don't see that a lot. Blazkowicz for Posita. This one should be interesting. And again, this is going to decide everything. Is Posita going to break into the league? Is GaRpY going to defend his spot? He's already done an immaculate job, in my opinion. As we get deeper into the series, he's able to actually get stronger, it appears. So heading into map number 5, I feel like it's a toss-up because usually GaRpY kind of falters at this point, but he's looking stronger than ever, Dan, and more confident.
I mean, 100%. And if there's ever a map where you're going to have a brawl and you're going to have chaos, it's Veil. And that's exactly what we've seen from these two players, virtually on every single map. If we look at it in context, I would say Posita's had the upper hand generally in close combat situations, which GaRpY's had the upper hand with the rail, and GaRpY's had the upper hand in terms of controlling the map. It's actually, should I say, it's probably more 50-50 in close combat. I would give the rockets to GaRpY and maybe LG to Posita, but Veil actually requires all of that combined, but the control is so critical. You cannot afford to let your opponent take the dominance of that heavy and the mega because it's so easy to rotate. So for me, the big question mark is, can Posita stop GaRpY getting a stronger hold on the map?
Well, this is it. Map number 5 of the first relegation set of the day. Chat, make some noise using all caps if you can, as Posita tries to dethrone GaRpY's spot in the Quake Pro League. GaRpY holding on for dear life, making it count, as we have a nail biter on our hands. Some damage right off the bat as Posita falls back to the Mega after a nice big delay here. 15-second split between the items. Can GaRpY see his way to a victory and keeping the spot, or is Posita going to take victory with both hands or dual wheel, Dan? I don't know. Big damage right here as Posita's stuck, trying to get as much damage on his way out. GaRpY able to capitalize and take that first frag.
Yeah, but so much damage coming out. Luckily, the heavy was actually left up for that aggression. Also, it just came up after that aggression, so could fall back onto it, but he has to now give up the mega for sure. So they are trading items. Big split, and Posita delaying it slightly. GaRpY's around to hit the timing. Good rail, but he eats a rail in return, and Posita knows that GaRpY will be pretty low, but instead of pushing in, does decide just to retreat, restack, and get position.
Taking a little bit too much damage from these rockets, getting bounced all over the place, and Posita able to melt him down with the shaft afterwards, ties it at 1. GaRpY popping the vision, trying to time this perfectly. So much LG from GaRpY.
There you go.
What a play.
And as you said, the vision was so clutch there. Posita just peeking, GaRpY pushing on through as he sees his opportunity. And now, again, items are already split. So this next rotation could be critical if it becomes up to be a clean frag into a back-to-back item pickup.
But a tribal again. Deja vu here as GaRpY trying not to get bounced around this time. Good LG, good positioning. He's able to grab the heavy, does eat a rail, but all things considered, not as bad as last time here. Big rocket around the corner with the conversion in the air.
Oh
GaRpY.
My God!
Wow.
Alright, we've got one of our contenders for frag of the tournament as GaRpY coming on strong, going in strong too to Posita, who doesn't know what's hit him. He's trying to rail, but nothing is there. And we have another situation where the tables have turned, because this time GaRpY comes out absolutely flying. Posita is so early, but also doing so much damage. Alright, I'm going to stop talking.
GaRpY, I don't know, a little bit too much? Why follow up at the rail? I don't know, but he's still 2 frags ahead. He's really trying to maintain the pressure, stomping out Posita as best as he can, but Posita able to stand his ground, keep this close. It's GaRpY trying to grab the vision with those time charts here. Posita maintaining high ground, 10 seconds before the heavy, has dual wheel just in case. Needs to be careful on using these rockets. He's only down to 3 here, swapping to the tribal to try and get some damage, making sure that GaRpY, no shenanigans through the telly there. But there it is, rocket jump across, but it's a little too late, but the damage is still going to be there. GaRpY able to melt him down with LG 20. Ooh, down to 25.
How?
The passive as Posita lives.
How does he do that? I don't understand, but somehow the mistiming turns into a huge bucket of fortune as GaRpY gets out and actually should be in control now. And the vision is also coming in clutch. We said we don't see it a lot here. However, it's been some amazing use so far and can be hugely valuable to GaRpY, where we've seen virtually no use of the dual wheel.
Oh, so much LG. Missed rail opportunity from Posita there. And you're absolutely right. The dual wheel not really playing a role in this at all. Good rail as the jump across from GaRpY comes out for the Mega. A little bit early, but he's going to be able to claim that in the light easily here as he does have the vision, and the rail again from Posita missing. There's the rocket jump aggression from GaRpY. Does eat a little bit of rocket damage. 51 HP for Posita as he is just playing the defensive game, trying to stay alive. Shots fired from all angles here as GaRpy keeping him on his toes, and he runs face first into a lot of tribal.
I also feel this is kind of the reflection of a bit of experience, as you said. We haven't seen any dual, but there's been plenty of opportunities to use it, and in order to respect, you should also just be using it so you could take away the vials from the visor. So again, this is a perfect opportunity to use it, and maybe this is a lack of experience for Posita on the particular champion, the fact he's just not used to playing the BJ. It's a little bit unusual, and it might come back to haunt him, but nevertheless, it is 4-3, incredibly tight. He's also in perfect position to potentially get a frag, if not at least get a clean item pickup.
That's true, you heard it here first, folks. If you don't use it, you lose it, as Posita trailing by 1. GaRpy again running into a bit of tri-bolt here. Rockets firing, Posita playing a platformer, dodging with some of them, but does connect with the last one as GaRpy gets a little bit of damage. Posita able to claim the Mega cleanly here, and 10 seconds till the heavy.
And now he's got full control and managing it well. Just needs to not let this slip so far. GaRpy respecting the presence of Posita, not pushing in. He's starting to connect with some rails of his own, and every single one of those is going to be clutch. He moves up onto the high ground, but lots of time before the item comes up. So Posita takes his opportunity to restock on his items and weapons.
5 minutes until the spot is decided for the Quake Pro League. Here's Posita, misses with that opening rail. Another free Mega, and you see the vision popped from GaRpy. He sees exactly what Posita's trying to do, and Posita's just raining rockets through. He needs to
early
hurry
though.
up now.
Yeah, I don't think GaRpy knows the timing, but to your point, we're also now in the 5th map of a best of 5, and this is where the pressure comes to the fore for Posita. I mean, we've seen him previously be extremely aggressive on every single map, but there's a lot more conservation coming out for Posita here. Maybe that's the pressure we were talking about as they take a big exchange, but they trade.
Huge last rocket from Posita to make sure it's still a 1 frag game as we're inching closer to 6 minutes elapsed. GaRpy able to claim that Mega, gets the heavy, but at what cost? The dual wheel, could this be the one? And it is a big use of dual wheel right there, Dan.
Okay, he waits 6 minutes, but oh boy, does he make it count. Turning out 5-5 though. However, he's extremely low. GaRpy's now in position. Got no armor to his name, so he's going to have to fight a real big fight. Managed his choke point well to try and win this Mega, and he's worked his way up early. He knows the timing, and Posita will respect that. Back off to the heavy.
GaRpy, good damage, but the heavy saves Posita's life. Needs to be careful off the spawn. He's taken the lead, Dan. GaRpy on the hunt, knowing he's weak, keeping that damage high. Well done, as Posita is able to use the passive and also the 2 health bubbles. And again, LG. GaRpy relentless, keeping the pressure on. Posita didn't even see that coming as he's back down to 50 HP with a little bit of armor. But GaRpy trying to take control of the map right here, right now. He's going to be a little bit late to the Mega. And that is going to be a big deal, Dan.
Yeah, big mistake there. GaRpy needs to have a presence completely free. He's also lost use of the rail. Haven't seen it come out for a while. He's trying to force the issue, and a big rocket from Posita there will stop GaRpy, and time is beginning to slip away, and Posita's control has been strong. GaRpy has not found a way to break this in the last few minutes. And there's a perfect pixel rail from Posita, meaning GaRpy just cannot now contest for this next round of items.
Here's the telly. Fantastic rail from GaRpy through the telly. Now he's just playing a dangerous game, trying to figure out the timing.
What?
The rocket from GaRpy! Oh my god, Dan!
Oh, but the dual is there once again, knocking GaRpy down. A bit fortunate, he also swept up the Mega. Does Posita know this? He's sticking around. GaRpy's also sticking around. Awkward fight. Oh, he's done a lot of damage. Posita might be trying to chase down his prey here. Does actually respect the fact that GaRpy's got away now, but won himself position for the next round of items. Big damage coming out though. GaRpy living on the edge, popping that vision to make sure he's got a clean passage just to get out of this area. Not the best use.
I'm still hung up on that rocket. That was absolutely incredible from down below as GaRpy tying it at 6. Posita taking a little bit of a ride with the lightning here. Not too much though, but he does have the stack to take a fight, and GaRpy needs to be careful. He doesn't have vision for another 30 seconds here as he might prioritize these vials after this light armor.
Somehow GaRpy's been playing without items this game, just playing off the lights. Posita's had full control, not being able to impose himself though, so nice defensive play by GaRpy. However, all it takes is one small mistake from GaRpy, one mispositioning, and Posita's control will be imposing. So GaRpY has to play absolutely perfect, because we're at the point now where next frag could be the deciding frag for one of these two guys in the QPL's fate.
Decent rocket as Posita comes through. Big rocket here, and Posita needs to be careful. He needs to think twice. He needs to at least deal damage on this, as GaRpY might steal away this heavy very early fight here, but he has won the heavy, Dan, and this is the start of something potentially beautiful
This is
for GaRpY.
huge. He's pushing in. There's so much time before the Mega. He's not going to contest it. The dual wheel comes out, but the lightning gun is so good. Misses with the clutch rail, though. Posita's still up there. He can't get away. It's relatively low. GaRpY knows, though, he doesn't need to force this. Tries to hit a rail, but misses a clutch one. Gonna have to push on back towards this heavy area. Relatively even stacks. It comes down to hit the first damage. Wrong weapon choice from Posita, but the shotgun!
DLG has to do it. DLG has to do it. He's able to pick up the heavy on the way. 30 seconds left. Posita with a 1-frag lead, and GaRpY has to be on the hunt. He's going to go through the telly. Posita laying down some tri-bolt defensively. Can he run for 20 seconds to break into the league? A little bit of LG from around the corner. Posita with the rockets, but they're going to fail him. And GaRpY's able to tie it at 7 with 15 seconds left, Dan.
This is huge. GaRpY got a clean frag. Posita just couldn't get away. Doesn't need to get the frag now, but he knows it's possible. He's just going to play the items, which is a smarter play. Posita completely at odds with where GaRpY is, and now he's on the ropes. GaRpY just needs to play the basics, and he will stay in the QPL. Posita needs to pick up a miracle. He's got nothing to work with. He's trapped. Can he get away? GaRpY knows exactly where he is. He's going to work his way up. Easy rail. He's railable. Nearly a rocket to the face. GaRpY gets away. He's got the vision. And it will be GaRpY who somehow manages again to keep his position in the Quake Pro League.
Insane. GaRpY showing exactly why, given the rough stage, he still belongs in the Quake Pro League, taking it all 5 maps, and we end the series the way we started, with sudden death. Posita so close to breaking and dethroning GaRpY's spot, but GaRpY says, not today, young man, not today.
I mean, that was, for me, the best challenger performance we've seen to date from anyone, full stop. The confidence, the aggression, and the play style from Posita was incredible and refreshing. But as you rightly said, this just shows the pedigree that these players are at. That GaRpY wins 2 maps all stage and takes the best challenger to the wire and walks away with it. It was incredible, and we definitely saw the pressure come to the fore. Posita there, you know, he was incredibly confident all series long, but it just wasn't enough to take it away from GaRpY today, who also, give him his credit, didn't play his best series, but he had the fortitude to stick it out.
Absolutely mental. Wheat, please, let's chat about this. I know that you're probably drooling over there. We're spoiled with the first set of the day.
I imagine that production is just taking screen caps of my reaction as these games are happening. I don't know. There was a lot of like jaw on the floor moments, especially in that last game. I want to call out, if not just to make you all feel great, but I think that the most on point thing that you said that just was like frustrating to kind of watch unfold, and chat was sharing that frustration, is, you know, not throwing that dual wield out. There were, you know, you mentioned it, 6 minutes until it first came out, and I just felt like there were so many opportunities, and it's that strange balance that you have to achieve as a player, right? You want to have this in your back pocket for when it feels right, but there's definitely you know, a sense of like, that might have given a little bit more of an edge. And when you consider that the game came down to a single frag, that is like a learning moment for any player, right? Yeah. Posita obviously has some incredible skills, has certainly got some potential here in what could happen. GaRpY, I commend him for sticking to it and really drawing on his own experience as a veteran player in Quake to stay composed, stay calm, and pull out. I mean, the fact that the first and the last map of this series went to sudden death is pretty incredible. So I'm with them. Alpaca lips. Wow. I love Quake. Holy shit. Yes, that was a great way to kick off the Quake World Championship here at QuakeCon.
I mean, I broke a mug during that game, just raging at the screen. But I think your point is amazing, Wheat, because it just shows that even though you're an incredible player at all aspects, the new dynamic in Quake Champions, which isn't new anymore, but the ability to min-max on every champion, and it just shows why people like Rafa are so good, that it feels like common sense and how you would play a Blazkowicz, but at this level, under that pressure, when you're trying to push it to the limit, you sometimes you make the smallest of wrong decisions and you think it's better for a different situation, and you just can't afford to have those minute mistakes in your game because it will cost you, and so that's a learning curve, as you say, for someone like Posita, who I'm sure we will see back in this position given his performance today, and he would deservedly be in the QPL if he won this one.
Yeah, completely
yeah.
agree. Yeah. Any final thoughts, 40, before we take our first break?
Just all the shouts in the world to Posita for putting on that performance for the world to see, and kind of, you know, if you didn't know his name before, you know it now. But shouts to GaRpy. I know that he's probably having a cup of tea saying, I had it the whole time. So, you know, congrats GaRpy for keeping your spot and making it close, but we're spoiled. More to come, and I can't wait, Weed.
More to come. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, our second relegation match is going to be happening. Another best of 5 in the EU region. So don't go away. More Quake action all weekend long here at QuakeCon. We'll be right back.